Hey y'all, it's Ashley with another layout for the April 2014 Hip Kit Club. And I'm starting off by matting my photo, but first I pulled out some pattern papers and some cardstock that I know that I'm going to be using. So I picked this yellow paper for the mat for the photo, and then I really like this Dear Lizzie striped paper as well, and so with that I really liked the look of it on top of the aqua cardstock. So I'm going to cut that down to a size that I like it. And then because I like these stripes so much, I wanted to try to use them in a way where they still had that long stripe element, I guess, and so, or I guess I should say the vertical element, and so I wanted to put that on the right hand side of the page, and then I also cut off the manufacturing strip to add to that. So I really want to use this orchid colored pseudo calico lemon lush paper. So I cut a strip to just try to use as a layering piece, and just wasn't working for me for this layout, so I decided to just kind of do away with that. And then I turned that Dear Lizzie paper over, and on the other side it's kind of a tone-on-tone subtle polka dot, a blue polka dot paper, and so I went ahead and cut that and put that underneath the photo. So now I'm just cutting down this paper by Pseudo Calico that's also from the Lemon Lush collection, and I thought I would use that little piece with the camera on it, and I decided not to do that because there are some other yellow pieces, but those yellow pieces I'm using weren't near as bright as that other neon yellow that I was about to use from that Studio Calico paper, so I decided to not use that little tag. I really like that Wordsmith paper that I kind of put behind the focal point. I used that in my last, I think I used that in my last layout I did, and I thought it would kind of give some contrast to the stripe paper and then also the aqua background paper, and so I slid that in between, and I really liked that it popped a lot when I did that. And then now I'm fussy cutting a butterfly from that same paper. I'm also going to fussy cut these doodles, thinking that I could try to find a way to make them work. I didn't like the way that it looked. You can't even really tell what it is from here, so I decided to just go ahead and cut out another butterfly. And that was pretty easy to cut because it isn't cardstock, and so, or it's not cardstock, it's pattern paper, so it's a little thinner, and so it was fairly easy to cut. Plus it's like a really imperfect image, so that made it a lot easier as well. Same thing with the heart. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out, and I'm thinking so far that I'm going to use all three of these pieces, and I'm liking where it's going, but I need to find some embellishments that will work with the page. So I believe I'm going to grab these Amy Tangerine Rub Ons, and the first ones that catch my eye for this layout are these sketchy arrows that go really well with the Wordsmith paper. And so I go ahead and cut those out and then rub those on, and then so I really liked it, and I thought, okay, I could go with that and put a title on, add a few more things, and be done with the layout, or I could make it really heavy. And so I started to add these Maggie Holmes label stickers and really liked the way that that looked, and so I thought, well, I'm going to add quite a few of embellishments on the right hand side, so I think I do want to make it kind of a layer heavy page just because that's the way that it was going. So since I ended up doing that, I ended up covering up those arrows, and so you could tell right there my mind was going because I went ahead and pushed the focal point up and pulled out these vellum pieces that came in our kits and started layering those underneath that centerpiece there. I really liked the way that that looked, and these vellum pieces are so great. I find they're so easy to layer because they still have that kind of transparent element to them, but they also, when they are up against color, they look almost like they're just printed like on cardstock. So I don't know, there's a lot of different ways that you can use them, and I like them as layering pieces. And so I know that I want to use that film strip. All of these little vellum pieces that I'm showing you right now are from the Maggie Holmes collection, and they did come in our kits. So the heart, the chipboard heart right there that I just put down was from Studio Calico, and the frame that I'm using is from crepe paper. And so I wanted something underneath the photo, but I also really liked the way that the frame looked and how it covered up the arrows, and so I went ahead and went with that. Then I pulled the Stampin' Up stamp set, and to be honest with you, it was okay the way that it looked. It didn't really excite me the way that this came out, but it didn't bother me enough to change anything or try to cover it up. So I just went ahead and left it, and I do add some other things here in a second. And then I made the mistake of trying to stamp it down below just to kind of keep your eye going, and I didn't really like the way that that looked, so I went ahead and tried to cover up most of it using the gems from Studio Calico and the butterfly piece that I fussy cut earlier. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue some of these vellum pieces down. And you couldn't see this dot runner, well, I couldn't see the dot runner underneath the vellum pieces, so I think that that worked out pretty well. And then I'm going to also glue these chevron arrow pieces that we got as well. I guess I got a little adhesive down there at the bottom, so I took my adhesive eraser and got that off. And those work really well. I think that one's from Stampin' Up, but I think they have them at like Michael's and Hobby Lobby too. Added another heart down there, and I don't know if I showed this, but I did put a frame, one of the crepe paper frames, down there at the bottom right hand corner and at the top right hand corner as well. And I believe I add one underneath the photo as well. And then there's another frame that I'm using to put that fussy cut heart in. I really like the way that that turned out. And then since I put a glittery element on there that I didn't have anywhere else, I went ahead and cut like a tab and put it down there at the bottom, and then also raised my focal point onto dimensional adhesive. So the photo that I'm scrapbooking is of me and my best friend from childhood, and our parents are really good friends, and we went to high school together, and then even when we were in college, we weren't too far away from each other, so we would meet up every now and then, of course, and then we both live in the same town again, which is perfect. And so this is taken at my bachelorette party, so the title of my layout is simple, and it's just Bestie, but I use those letters. You guys probably want to know more about how I got those letters to look that way, and Craftin' Kate did this, and somebody else did this too. I think somebody else on our design team used gelatos as well on their letters that made the colors pop so much more. And so if you're using mist, because it's so water-based, I think it makes it a lot more difficult to see the letters pop. But if you use something more pigmented like a paint, I think, or in this case I used 2 different colors of gelatos, I think that really helps to get your letters so that you can see what it says popping more. I also added that Citron Heidi Swap Color Shine, and then here I'm just going to add some sequins, but you guys won't see that whole process because it kind of takes a little bit of time. So here's the final picture. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was kind of a quick process, and I did put quite a bit of stuff on the layout, so if you have any questions, let me know. There's a good picture of those letters right there. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.